Hello everyone, it's Adam here. We have our Kanto YU6 powered speakers. A few weeks ago I unboxed these for you all and gave a little bit of initial impressions. I wanted to talk about them a little bit more now that I've had time with them. So let me get my notes pulled up and then we'll sit down and we'll discuss these speakers in depth. Alright, so before we get started, this was mentioned in the unboxing video, I have these for review purposes from Kanto directly. They're based out of, I think, British Columbia, Canada. I thought I should acknowledge that. It's probably a good thing to mention. So, we had some discussions initially when figuring out which ones I wanted to review. So, the company has 3 powered speakers, the U2s, the U4, and the U6s. The prices are $199, $299, and $389 respectively. They shaved $10 off the top end there. And at the time, that's the time of this video. Maybe cheaper when you go to look online. Just keep that in mind. In my opinion, these directly compete with what Audio Engine has when they're talking about their powered speakers. And there's obviously going to be some overlap with companies like Klipsch. Maybe some of the Bluetooth speakers that you find, that are gaining popularity. But for the most part, really, these are, and I'm leaving the Audio Engines in the background intentionally because they really do compete, in look and in price with what Audio Engine has. So the Audio Engine is the A2s for $249. I think they have the A3s. So Audio Engine is the A2s for $249, which probably competes directly with the U2s from Kanto, and then the U4s from Kanto directly compete with probably, I'm assuming, the P4s, but these are passive speakers, they're not powered. And it looks like the A5 Plus from Audio Engine, which is $399 to $469 depending on the finish you get, compete with the U6s from Audio Engine, which are $389 for all the finishes. And what you're getting with the U6s is a multitude of inputs, way more than the Audio Engine. You're getting built-in Bluetooth, which is also an improvement, and you're getting a built-in preamp. So those are 3 big features between the Kantos and the Audio Engines that set these things apart. If you look at the back of these compared to each other, so they both kind of use the left side as the control speaker. You've got the Kantos on the bottom and the Audio Engines on the top. So on the Kantos, you've got RCA, aux sub, you've got a ground here, you've got powered USB, which is really nice for your iPod. Then you've got your inputs from the turntable. You've also got optical in times 2, and then you've got the built-in Bluetooth as well. On the Audio Engine, you've got RCA, you've got a USB power, you've got the speaker, and no optical. So, huge difference between the I/O. You've also got a smaller footprint as far as the depth, because this has a big heatsink on the back of it on the Audio Engine, and the Kanto does not. And I wasn't really told by them to compare the two, but the reason why I picked white is I wanted that stark contrast, and I got these both, considering they're both very similarly priced. I was really amazed with the I/O and the U6 versus the Audio Engine A5 Plus. So that's the first noticeable thing. Let's talk, while I put this back in place here, let's talk about that preamp situation. So I've got the U-Turn audio turntable, and it has I purchased it with a built-in preamp. It's an optional thing, and a lot of turntables rightfully do not have built-in preamps. You should bring your own. There are many arguments for not having a preamp built into the turntable. So I chose to have one included. It's in the back. You can turn it on or off, so you can use the preamp built in or not. When I spoke to Kanto about why they decided to put that into their speakers, they mentioned that a lot of people are finding vintage turntables or buying a low-end turntable, their first turntable, and they want to get into vinyl, and they don't have the money or the knowledge to research and purchase a preamp yet. So Kanto has graciously put one in here at the A5 Audio Engine price point, which is fantastic. Now, again, you can disable it. So if you have your own turntable with built-in preamp or a preamp separate, you can disable the preamp inside of the U6, but it's a really nice thing to have. In addition, the Bluetooth built into here is really great. So I can use, just like any other Bluetooth speaker, you can connect your phone to it, your laptop to it, even your television or whatever you have for output, and stream wirelessly to Bluetooth, and it's awesome. And here's the great thing about it, which I found really helpful, is the remote control that comes with it. Let's get a little close up of that. So the remote control that comes with this is will control your device over Bluetooth as well. So you can hit next song, previous song, play, pause, and your phone can be next to the device or across the room. And the remote, as long as it has IR, so it has to be within infrared or line of sight. It's not a RF remote. It controls it with the IR, and then you can control your music. You can switch audio modes. You can change the balance between the two speakers, bass, treble, and then you've got your inputs over here on the top. So you can choose between auxiliary, turntable, phono, line in, that kind of thing. Really great, or Bluetooth. So the remote's great. The audio engine comes with the Bluetooth. All you can do on the audio engine is the volume up, down, and I think the modes. And again, it's an IR remote from the audio engine as well. I don't have it with me, but it's really small. I actually lost it because it's so tiny. So those are, in my opinion, those are the three biggest selling areas over the audio engine: is the price, the Bluetooth functionality, and then the remote, and then finally the preamp. I used to use my iPod plugged into the audio engine to play music. For the iPod, benefits from having a USB on the back of both of these, which has been great. I use the line in for that, and then I can easily use the remote to switch over to the turntable for the input on that. So and it's a remote's indispensable, because if you lose it, you really truly can't switch the modes otherwise. Volume control, it has a little bit of a feedback to it. It clicks, so you got 20 roughly clicks around the whole bit here. And you've got, this is also the on-off button. See the light changes here when you click that from amber to white. Oh, you know what? I bet that's used for modes. I've never tried that before. I bet that's used for modes to switch if you don't have the remote, and if you turn it off, hold it down, that turns it off completely. That's kind of the feature list. I mean, I can list off the kind of the watts and stuff, and you guys should definitely do that on your own as far as the various details. One thing I will add is that both Audio Engine and Kanto have subwoofers that are branded that you can buy that work with the subwoofer ports in the back of these. Highly recommended. Obviously, I'm running my speakers on the table with the turntable. So I mentioned to Kanto, what are they doing about that? And they're selling some speaker stands that are about $100 for a pair, I believe. And they can allow you to put the speakers off of the surface where the turntable is located. These are actually the Audio Engine risers that I've been using, and Kanto sells their own risers as well. So they're I really hate the one-to-one comparison I'm doing, but it's partly because of my experience with the A5s with the speakers risers already, but also because they have a lot of similarities from them. A lot of speaker companies are just selling you the speaker and expecting you to buy the preamp, the stands, the subwoofer, and both companies are kind of giving you everything you're going to need between both options. So let's talk about sound quality. So this, for me, I wish there was a way for you to go listen to both of these in stores side by side. And if you're in New Hampshire, feel free to come by and I'll play both for you. And I mean that. I'm not just kidding. But for me, I prefer the Audio Engine speakers for their sound. The sound has a lot more low tones. It also has a lot more high tones. They both are very similar in the mids. If you're messing around with your bass and treble settings, at some point they'll sound identical. But when you just have a normal rock or hip-hop song or dance song on, with no equalizer setting, no modification to the modes, and no adaptation to the sound at all, the Audio Engine is superior. And I can't play for you this because the microphone I'm using in the camera isn't going to pick up those nuances. And all of a sudden I can't monetize my video because I have copyright music playing. So all I can say is, I think if I personally was going to go buy a new speaker today to go with the lowest end U-turn turntable, it would be the Kanto U4s most likely. If I already own the Audio Engines, which I do, I would probably get the Kantos and send them back. only because it doesn't feel to me like an upgrade. Now they're cheaper, so it's an argument for the sound quality. But I was hoping that they would have a very similar sound quality, given that it's just a woofer and a tweeter per speaker. They're powered speakers. They've got all the direct I/O you could want. The dimensions of the actual speaker boxes are the same. I really expected they would be pretty much on par, and the difference would be so discernible that I would say, without a doubt, if you're in the market for powered speakers to pair with a turntable, get the Kantos. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stick with the Audio Engine as my primary listening device. And the Kantos are going to be put in a separate room for now, until I have to give them back, as Bluetooth speakers. They're not going to be plugged into anything. They're going to be completely isolated. They're going to be two separate sides of a room on speaker stands, and they'll be paired to one of my iPods that has Bluetooth, an old iPod Touch, that's going to be sending music to them via Apple Music. And I think in that situation, they're fantastic. Actually, when I was talking to Kanto on the phone, they gave me a scenario which I didn't think of, which was, again, in a dorm room or a studio apartment, a guy's first apartment, a girl's first apartment, 250 square feet. The Kanto U6s are the only speakers you're going to need. You could hook your Amazon device up to it. You could hook, someone had their Chromecast going into this for streaming music to it. With Bluetooth, you can stream music to it. You can have it as the audio player device for your small television, for your MacBook, for your iMac. I mean, really, you could have a splitter and have multiple devices feeding music into these speakers on different interfaces, and they pretty much do the job of a soundbar, of a Bluetooth speaker, of an Apple Music speaker, of a HomePod, of an Amazon device, all in one. So for that, I think it's great. I think they have an edge over the Audio Engine, because price and the I/O options are going to totally kick Audio Engine's ass. But on a pure track-for-track, line-in audio comparison, I still prefer the A5 Pluses. And all I'll add before I close the video out is that I did do 2 weeks of solid break-in on the Kanto U6s, playing different audio tracks at low, medium, and high volume. So I did a full break-in, and the audio didn't really change that much to me on my personal opinion. So that's my review. That's what I think of them, and I hope it was helpful to someone. I didn't have a script for this. I had a couple of notes on things that I thought were good or bad, but I didn't really have a script. I just kind of talked out loud. So if you're in the buying market, I think the U6s are really a good option to look at. If you want the most sound in this footprint, I think the A5s are going to be what you want to go with. But you're going to lose I/O and you're going to pay more money. So it's kind of a toss-up there. All right, well, thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks, Kanto, for sending these out to me for me to try out. I think they're awesome. I think it's great that Canadian-based company is reaching out to YouTubers to have them do reviews like this. I'm obviously not a celebrity. The unboxing video I posted has done very well as far as views so far, so I think that people are going to enjoy this one a lot more than just seeing the eye candy part of it. They're great speakers overall. They're really well built, and they have a really solid construction to them, and I love them. They're really great. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, and have a nice day, and good luck with your buying.